Hello, everyone. I remarked earlier today to my Chief of Staff, Bruce Copa, and in a little bit of a meeting with some of the folks that are in this room just before we came in here, remarked to all of them that what a big day this is for me. And I generally try to avoid the idea when I'm here as governor of trying to personalize things too much. It's an honor to be governor in the company of the 6 previous governors here, and so I try to really concentrate on the institutional role of government, governor and government, proclamations and commemorations, bill signings, and things of that nature. But I must confess to you that I can't avoid that today. This is something that is profoundly personal for me. I recalled, among the many friends that I have here, I recalled a little bit with Buzzy Hong, in particular, our days at the University of Hawaii. I called it the weight room, Buzzy, but I don't think it amounted to a weight room. We had a corner over there, I think, right where they had some unused weights or something that we were working on in those days. Neither one of us, I think, dreaming of this day possibly coming to fruition. We didn't have it in mind in those days at all, that we would be here. So those were the days when I first had my association with political giants like Vince Yano and Vince Esposito, and I was the part of the student coordination of the Jack Burns campaign, and in post-statehood, when Governor Burns came to take the place of the last appointed governor and then first elected Governor Bill Quinn, what that party was all about, what that Democratic Party was all about, what the values were. When I first got my mentorship, if you will, in those days from people like Dave Thompson and Eddie Tangen at the ILWU, Elmo Sampson from the laborers who nominated me to the executive board of the AFL-CIO when I was a graduate student at the university, trying to do some organizing among the faculty there. Giants who helped set the tone, helped set the foundation of the transition from a territory to a state and the recognition of working people's rights and the establishment of a foundation of prosperity for the state of Hawaii. And so when as I moved along through this, I had the good fortune to meet Herbert Chubby Kaupua with the United Association, commonly known as the Plumbers. The short term for everybody associated with all the trades functioning within the United Association was the Plumbers. Chubby Kaupua first broached the idea to me about a project labor agreement, and that he thought this was the wave of the future. He thought this was the way to put management and labor together in a positive way that recognized the legitimate aspirations and desires of both, and that would benefit the community as a whole. And I was able to take his ideas literally when I was a member of Congress to put together the project labor agreement associated with military housing here in the state of Hawaii. And if you'll recall, the unemployment situation was as dire as it was today, if not more so, at the time the project labor agreement came in, at the time that the military housing bill was able to be passed, that Representative Joel Heffley of Colorado and I were able to put together on a bipartisan basis in the Congress in the mid-1990s. And that manifested itself in the military housing agreements, project labor agreements that were put together for the building of military housing here in Hawaii. Now, this is not an exact copy. The dynamics are different, but the principle is the same. The whole idea of the project labor agreement was to meet the special challenges posed by large government contracts that are out there for projects, and I'll give you some examples, 5 examples in a moment or two. We were able to take that project labor agreement, a pioneer agreement, Hawaii pioneered it. So what we're doing today is based on the good work that was done by many of the people in this room to achieve the project labor agreement that characterizes all the construction for military housing in Hawaii. Every one of those projects has come in under budget and ahead of time. Remember when we had those 40 days of rain, 40 nights of rain, a couple of, well, half a decade or so ago? Even in those circumstances, every project that was done under a project labor agreement here in the state of Hawaii with the United States government came in under budget, came in ahead of time, and the number of disagreements, the pilikia associated with labor management relations was non-existent. Didn't happen. You can't count on the fingers of one hand any difficulties that have arisen. So using that as a basis for this, and by coincidence, Chubby's successor, Reggie Castaneris, is here with me now to kind of symbolically represent everybody in the room. I'm announcing today Administrative Directive number 12-05, use of project labor agreements for state construction projects. Now, as I've indicated, large-scale projects of the state have particular challenges to efficient and timely completion and procurement. This has caused some difficulties in all kinds of circumstances. We believe, and I believe, that the challenges that arise in some of these projects, because they typically involve multiple employers at a single location, there's perhaps lack of coordination among various trades and employers as to how to get things accomplished in a timely way. There's disputes upon one group or another. All of these threaten the timely completion of these projects. We believe that state project labor agreements will eliminate that. It'll provide efficient and expeditious completion of state construction projects. So what's going to be signed then today is a support for this administrative directive. This does not commit the unions or the contractors to any specific project today or any specific agreement as such in terms of a project and the fulfillment of the RFP associated with it. But what it's support of this directive to have a project labor agreement and support for the idea of project labor agreements. So what we'll be doing is taking as a reference point the project labor agreements already in existence here in the state of Hawaii with regard to the federal government and military housing projects, and use that as a jumping off point for achieving Hawaii-specific project labor agreements and project-specific agreements that will ensure that we put our people to work. We're going to see to it that our people work, that the money stays here in Hawaii, that we're not going to have a situation where contractors are able to come in and lowball bids and get advantages in procurement because they're able to establish false levels of employment, or get categories of laborers, for example, that are not actually specific to the job, and we can't enforce it because they've got a phony address, or they've established, aren't paying their medical premiums, or aren't meeting up all of the specifications. All that's going to disappear. And so we're going to see enforcement of our rules and regulations. We're going to see people going to work in Hawaii now that might not otherwise have had the opportunity. We believe that with the establishment of project labor agreements for state of Hawaii projects, that we're going to return to the situation that prevailed with the project labor agreement with the federal government when our unemployment rate was the lowest in the United States. We believe that our unemployment rate is going to go down, and go down significantly, because people are going to be going to work, and these are not make-work projects. These are projects in the direct interest of the people of the state of Hawaii, and they will include I'll give you specific examples. Yeah, well there, okay, there's the president, right. This is a release. Yeah. Let me tell you what the 5 of them will be, and then I'll ask Reggie to comment on it. This is going to be statewide. This is not going to be a Wahoo-centric. This is going to put people to work on every island. So all of you folks that are out there in construction and associated business endeavors on the neighbor islands, we're going to be, this is just the start. University of Hawaii, Hilo College of Pharmacy, $38 million project. The one that is going to be my pride and joy, I can tell you that right now. No offense to everybody else out here. The Princess Victoria Kamamalo building, right down here at the corner of, across, excuse me, next to the YWCA, the Richards YWCA, across from Iolani Palace. That building has symbolized the ineffectiveness of state government. The incapacity of the state government to take advantage of an opportunity right here in downtown to have a major office building falling into complete disuse and disrepair is an insult to a democracy that should be not only capable of but desirous of making maximum use of public property. That's going to be at least $33 million, a major renovation of the existing building, putting it into the U.S. Green Building Council's LEED standards. We're going to not only restore the Kamamala building, but we're going to make it a green building. The Maui Regional Public Safety Complex, this may be in excess of $200 million, between $200 million and $250 million before we're through with that complete project. That really comes to with a plural on it. Eva Elementary School, a new classroom complex in Eva, at least $11 million, and then another $200 to $250 million projected project, the Honolulu International Airport Malka Concourse project, and that's just having to do with the Malka Concourse. We're going to be spending a lot more in the airport, not only here in Honolulu, but statewide. And so labor unions and employers that work on these projects will enter into a project labor agreement when that contract is awarded. And with that, I believe, will come a new era of prosperity for the state of Hawaii, a new emphasis on coordination between the employer and the employee that will honor the tradition of labor management in this state, which benefits not just capital, but the workers themselves. Reggie?
Hello, everyone. I'm the Building Trades Council President, Reginald Castaneras Jr. And we're grateful that the Abercrombie administration is supportive of the working men and women of Hawaii. The governor's directive speaks volumes to his desire to create jobs and work on necessary projects that will benefit this state. We want to thank you.
Thank you. Some of the people who helped make this possible, the Attorney General, David Louie, has been just absolutely central and fundamental to putting this all together to make sure that we were crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. The enforcement will be with Dean Secchi, of course, enforcement with Dwight Takamine, I should say. And Dean Secchi will be in charge of a lot of the awarding that's going to be taking place with DAGs. I just want to say a particular, make a particular note, Dwight. A particular note. I said this is kind of a personal day because of my deep feeling about those who helped give me a perspective on life and helped to mentor me. And one of the things that has been a joy in my life, and one of the people that has had the most influence on my thinking was Dwight's father, Yoshiro Takamine. I don't know if he's going to be tuned in to or what you'll have there tonight. For those of you interested in the human interest side of things, Dwight's father took me in hand many, many years ago when I first got elected, and showed me not only what a big heart was, but he showed me how to try to think in a manner that truly reflected the Aloha spirit. And so, if anything today, I want to indicate that I'm signing the administrative order, administrative directive today with the Yoshiro Takamine in my heart as I do it.
Thank you very much.
So, let's see, I want to do that now. Should I move this over so that it can be seen a little bit easier? What do you think I should do? Where's Timmy? He knows how this thing works. Leave it there? Bring it up here and sign it?
No, we'll leave it there.
They can catch it.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay. Put this out here. And then after I sign that, Reggie, I'm gonna ask you to step up and sign for you and the United Association, and then ask if we can invite each of the other representatives of the various trades and so on to come up and sign their support for the idea of this project labor agreement, and for the idea of the administrative directive that establishes it. So the policy will be as follows, and this is what I'll be signing. In order to promote efficient administration and completion of state construction projects, I direct the executive branch agencies as follows. It shall be the policy of state government to encourage executive agencies to consider requiring the use of project labor agreements in connection with all state departments, its agencies, entities, its officers, employees, agents, or other persons. The effective date will be immediately and shall apply to all solicitations for contracts issued on or after the effective date of the implementation guidelines established under Section 7 of the directive. Done. Yeah, once you've signed, everybody, yeah, just stay here, and we'll take holy pictures. Okay, everybody, here we are. both of them up, I guess. Reggie, you here, you hold down that side, I'll hold on this side, how's that?
Thank you.
We're gonna leave the podium up because I expect you'll have some questions and so on for the group, and then later we'll take some pictures together, okay? Okay, any questions or observations anybody like to make?
So Governor, is it any state project from here on out will have a PLA?
No, there'll be the major projects. Some obviously, you know, a little repair and maintenance thing may not qualify for it, and would be more trouble than it's worth. But when you're dealing with major elements like the airport concourse, say as opposed to a restroom at the airport, or major buildings like the Kamamala building, that's where we'll be putting this to work.
Would that include an auditorium?
More on the netatorium later. More on the netatorium later, but I can tell you, you saw I smiled when that happened. As the events unfold, I hope to be able to make that a major project that will, I think, bring a smile to everybody's face.
Can you speak to how the government benefits from this type of arrangement, how taxpayers do that?
As I indicated with the military housing, that used to go project by project, individual funding, and for each project, and we did not have any certainty as to how things would work or not work. Once we got the military housing under a project labor agreement, there was economies of scale, there was certainty of the operation. Every project, to my knowledge, associated with the project labor agreement, military housing under the federal government, has come in under budget and ahead of time, because there literally were no difficulties. Everything was, the management and labor essentially were working as a team. And I think there was probably some trepidation on the part of management when they started out. They weren't quite sure what it was going to be. And what I told them was this is Hawaii. We talk to one another. We're able to work together with one another. We understand we're here in an island setting, 2,500 miles away from any other activity on continental activity and so on. We understand that we have to work together and make things happen together. So that's what this will be about. I have every confidence that we're going to be able to reflect the same success that we had with the project labor agreement, that idea that I put forward for the federal government will work for the state of Hawaii. If you can get the Pentagon and the joint services to agree that something is really working as well as could possibly be hoped for, I think we're going to be able to take the same attitude and the same approach on the state and make it work.
Can you talk about how many jobs roughly this could create, or maybe use an example, for example, UH Hilo or Kapamalu building?
That'll have to, Dean will have to comment on that, and when the RFP goes out for that. But you can see by the fact that it's, one is a $30 million one, another, the concourse, for example, is $200 million. That means you're going to be employing a very, very broad and deep workforce that'll probably cover virtually every trade represented here, and some that are not. It certainly will cover supplies. It covers, I mean, there's all kinds of indirect benefits that accrue as well. Accounting and processing and those kinds of things. The multiplier effect of a project like the concourse project at the airport, the multiplier effect is going to be considerable. There's going to be a lot of people who, from the indirect side of this, will be a beneficiary. So the jobs are going to be, I guess, in the thousands, and the fiscal benefits, including revenue, general revenue coming back to the state from the excise tax and so on, is going to be considerable.
Is there a uniform set of standards that are going to apply to all projects, such as the strikes and lockouts?
Oh yes, this will be part of the agreement. That's
Do you have that
one of the
already?
things.
Is that something?
Yeah, that that'll be available.
Just to follow up on that, if this directive were not in place, and perhaps the Labor Department could answer it as well, what kind of examples of obstacles would come up? Strikes, things like that? Are these
Yeah.
the kind of things that you're?
Disagreements among, say, among the trades, jurisdictional arguments. None of that took place in the housing. And the housing is a good example because you have so many different things involved. You've got landscaping, you've got infrastructure, you've got appliances to be put in, all kinds of elements that simply disappeared in terms of Pilikia arising. It's all settled ahead of time. And if there is something, the agreement it has a method for working it, but it hasn't had to be invoked. It simply hasn't happened because everybody understood what was at stake. You achieve an understanding of the direction you're going in. Everybody feels that they've participated. Everybody understands what the rules are, and it works.
Mr. Custiners, could you speak to the labor aspect of this? This basically guarantees that these will all be union projects, correct?
These will all have standards that meet what the unions have established in Hawaii. Yes, absolutely. No question about that. Right, Reggie?
Yes.
Understand
Good
something.
job, Rich.
Understand something. We're not having any lowball bids coming in here from some fly-by-night outfits that we've struggled for years. And believe me, when I was a member of Congress, I found it all the time, that you've got people that come in from elsewhere and they establish phony addresses, the post office boxes, they have wrong categories of workers for the jobs. All kinds of things take place which disenable our contractors from being able to bid effectively. This is a guarantee that contractors in Hawaii, as long as they meet our standards, whether they're union or non-union, that's not the issue.
Right.
What's the issue is the establishment of the highest possible standards, including wages and benefits and standards of practice, most particularly for the building trades. I mean, you're dealing with electricity. You're dealing with areas in which OSHA, the Office of Safety, has to keep vigilance because there's dangers associated with this. And we're not going to have any of these outfits coming in that are going to put our own people in danger or are going to lowball our opportunity to set the kind of standards in terms of wages and benefits that our people deserve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have a question?
So we're just going to open it up to some, outside of the announcement, some Q&A from media who are here. And,
Yes.
HSCA contract negotiations,
Yes.
how are they going? Where are we at?
Well, to the best of my knowledge,